5 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
This is an alert day. Rain hit the crossroads with more on the way. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. And Mac, we had a record amount of rain today.
Yes, as a matter of fact, 3.34 is the new record set at the airport, but we have other totals that are even more impressive. What we need to look at is out to the southwest. This is where the next band of showers is going to be rolling toward us. By sunrise, it'll be raining again. And then all that moisture is coming in from the Pacific. That is why we're getting ready for 2, maybe 3 more surges of fairly significant rainfall around the area. Today, just to give you an idea, Riverside had 4.48, Raisin 3 inches, Edna 2.2, and Cuero had 3.3. So yeah, imagine if we got that 3.3 again and then again. So we may have a total of about 7 to 8 inches to deal with, and that will likely get us into a flooding situation by the time we get to Tuesday night or Wednesday. So you got to keep your heads up. We'll have more details on your weather coming up a little bit later on. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. A 23-year-old woman was sentenced to 45 years in prison after pleading guilty to murder in Louise. The Wharton Journal-Spectator reports Rebecca Hart admitted she killed her 2-year-old son, Daniel Esquima, on May 9th of 2022. Authorities say the boy suffered repeated physical abuse and neglect and was malnourished. He died of extensive injury and head trauma.
A 28-year-old man pleaded guilty to murder in Wharton County. The Wharton Journal-Spectator reports Aaron Martinez shot and killed Adam Sines on April 27, 2020 at Sines' home on Alice Street in El Campo following a family dispute. Martinez was sentenced to 17 years in prison. Authorities said Sines' family consented to the plea agreement. Victoria ISD hosted a specially called meeting this evening.
25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick stopped by the Victoria ISD Administration Building. Adarius, what did you hear at this meeting?
Well, you guys, one workshop mentioned a big topic, and not just the Crossroads, but the state of Texas. The topic was teacher compensation and potential pay rises. The school board broke into a subcommittee to discuss potential pay raises for staff. Also, they involved the community with a survey. Nearly 400 people participated and commented on their concerns for the school district. One person wrote, VISD does need to increase all staff salary in order to retain staff across the district. The community needs to support its public school district. Decisions made by our community affects our students. The board plans to address how to raise pay in the near future. This meeting was only a workshop, so no final decisions were made. However, the conversations have begun to get teachers more pay. Back to you guys.
Darius, thank you. Later this week, workers will move soil contaminated by a chemical leak at the Port of Victoria. San Patricio County Sheriff Oscar Rivera says they're expecting 50 to 60 trucks of soil starting Thursday. The soil will go to U.S. Ecology in Robstown. That's a hazardous waste facility designed to handle that kind of material. The oil and chemical spill at the Shamrock Products Terminal at the Port of Victoria happened January 3rd. Authorities say about 300 barrels of crude oil and diesel were leaked.
Victoria police arrested a 30-year-old man this morning in the 3100 block of Arroyo Drive. Jaime Ortega is charged with burglary of a home. He was also taken into custody on a warrant for a violation of probation for a burglary of a home. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $70,000 bond.
One person has a minor injury after a 2-vehicle wreck in Jackson County. It happened this morning on U.S. Highway 59 southbound at the Lavaca River Bridge just south of Edna. The inside lane on Highway 59 was temporarily closed and has now reopened.
At least 3 people are dead and 2 others injured in a shooting at a short-term rental property in Katy. Police believe more than 12 people had been inside the home early Sunday morning when someone opened fire. It's unclear if the shooter or shooters crashed the gathering or if they were invited.
It appears there were a number of people inside the residence, possibly just guessing between 10 to 20 people. We're told it was some type of short-term rental, possibly Airbnb. Outside of the house along the street, we also have some firearms evidence there, so there's evidence that other people were shooting outside of the residence.
The shooting is still under investigation. The U.S. Supreme Court is allowing the Border Patrol to remove razor wire along a portion of the U.S. southern border with Mexico, handing a victory to the Biden administration in a 5-4 vote. The ruling applies to a section of the Rio Grande where state leaders had blocked access to border agents. 3 migrants recently drowned in that area, prompting the White House to press the Supreme Court to intervene. Texas has also placed buoys in the river near Eagle Pass to stop migrants from crossing. That floating barrier is also the subject of a legal battle between Texas and the Biden administration.
A new report shows Texas has spent billions of dollars to try to curb illegal crossings into the state. CBS News Texas obtained a report from Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star. It's revealed the state has spent about $10 billion since he started the program 3 years ago. The report says law enforcement has detained nearly 500,000 migrants. DPS says nearly 40,000 people face criminal charges. Early voting in Victoria for the February 3rd mayoral election continued Monday. The numbers from the Victoria County Election Administrator look like this. 166 people voted in person early Monday, 398 total votes so far. 78 mail-in votes were received Monday, a total of 169 mail-in votes so far.
Early voting for City of Victoria mayor runs through January 30th. Early voting is at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, located at 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. You can vote this week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. On January 29th and 30th, you can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On the ballot is Josephine Solis, Peter Brown, Robert Bob Constantine, Jacob Salceda, Carissa Winters, and Dwayne Crocker. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of the special mayor election.
For any residents who have an interest in getting involved with Victoria's government, you can apply to run for City Council. Residents can run for any of the 4 regular City Council District 1, 2, 3, and 4 seats. An informational session about the roles of City Council members will be held on February 6th at 10 a.m. at the City Council Chambers. That's on 107 West 1 Lynn Street. The election is set for May 4th.
Now to the latest in the war between Israel and Hamas. Dramatic videos captured the moment multiple frustrated families of those held hostage by Hamas burst into a parliament meeting.
They demanded lawmakers secure the release of their loved ones while calling for the dissolution of the Israeli government.
The families of those taken hostage by Hamas militants in Gaza storming a parliamentary committee session in Jerusalem, demanding lawmakers do more to free their loved ones. Protesters chanting, "You will not sit here while our children die." Some holding signs that read, "Bring them home." Their actions signaling growing domestic dissent as the Israel-Hamas war drags through its 4th month. One lawmaker saying he understands their pain and will do everything to get the hostages home safely. This demonstration coming a day after the Israeli military confirmed the death of a kidnapped soldier. Still, about 136 hostages are believed to be in captivity. At least 33 of them are believed to be dead. But as the war continues, talks over the release of more hostages in Gaza remains at an impasse. Hamas demanding a permanent ceasefire. Israel determined to completely eliminate Hamas. Israel saying fighting will likely continue for months amid growing pressure from the West to allow more supplies to enter Gaza and alleviate the humanitarian crisis. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says more than 25,000 people have been killed in Gaza since the war started on October 7th when Hamas stormed Israel's southern border, killing 1,200, most of them civilians, according to Israel. President Biden says he believes he will, quote, work something out with Israel on a 2-state solution. But this weekend, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected that idea again, saying Gaza must be under full security control of the State of Israel. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Now, Israel has proposed a 2-month pause in fighting for the release of all the remaining hostages being held by Hamas. The proposed deal noted the plan would be to release hostages in stages, starting with those over 60 and in dire medical conditions. Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there was no real proposal from Hamas for a deal to secure the release of the hostages. A Hamas official said they would not accept any deal without the promise of a permanent ceasefire. Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the only complete victory would secure both the release of hostages and Hamas eliminations.
The World Food Program chief is warning of the limited access to food and water in the Gaza Strip. WFP reported 97% of Palestinian households in the northern areas and 83% in the south have inadequate food consumption, with many going at least one day without eating. Also, the average daily clean water consumption levels range between 1.5 to 1.8 liters per person across the Gaza Strip. This is way below the 15 liters minimum average volume of water for drinking and hygiene per person daily. San Antonio has a plan to tackle violence with a public health approach. You can read this Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so when you're on YouTube, you can get Crossroads Today. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10. A man is accused in a quadruple murder in Illinois.
Also ahead, nearly 70 million people are under winter weather alerts as a new winter storm is set to hit parts of the U.S. today. A quadruple shooting has shaken a community in the Chicago suburbs. A man is accused of killing his wife and 3 daughters at their home on Sunday. Police found the suspect uninjured inside the home with a gun. It wasn't immediately clear if he was the same person who called 911. The man has not been identified but is now in custody with charges pending.
We arrived on scene very quickly, within approximately 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and he was taken into custody without incident in about 1 minute and 20 seconds thereafter. So it was a very fast response.
The victims are 53-year-old Mahida Kasim. She was the mother of 25-year-old twins and a 24-year-old.
The Massachusetts State Ballot Law Commission has dismissed a challenge against Donald Trump's candidacy. The panel rejected the case on procedural grounds Monday. It said the commission does not have jurisdiction to address the matter. The U.S. Supreme Court is considering a similar case in Colorado. What the justices decide in that matter will set precedent for all states to follow. The Biden administration is doubling down on abortion rights. Monday marks what would have been the 51st anniversary of Roe v. Wade. That's the Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion nationwide. In 2022, the Dobbs decision reversed it, leaving abortion decisions up to states. Vice President Kamala Harris made an impassioned speech about it in Wisconsin, and President Biden talked about it from Washington today.
A year and a half ago, this Supreme Court made an extreme decision overturning Roe with their Dobbs decision to rip away a constitutional right from the American people, which had never been done before, a fundamental right ripped away, important to so many Americans. A right that is vital to a country founded on the idea of freedom. I said on that day that Roe was overturned. The health and lives of women in this nation would now be at risk. And that has unfortunately proven to be true.
Abortion will likely be a key issue during this year's presidential campaign.
ExxonMobil is suing two investors that want shareholders to vote on a proposal calling for faster emission cuts. They have accused the investors of hijacking the process used for proposing shareholder votes to advance their own agenda. The non-binding resolution called on the company to accelerate its plans to reduce carbon emissions. Exxon says the proposal does not try to improve the company's economic performance or improve shareholder value. The company wants to ban the proposal from appearing on the ballot for shareholders. This month, back-to-back winter storms have killed more than 18 people across 13 states. Now, nearly 70 million people from northern Texas to the Great Lakes are under winter weather alerts. Along the Gulf Coast and portions of the southeast, approximately 37 million people are under threat of flash flooding and excessive rainfall just this week alone.
Here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Are you seeing flooding issues in your neighborhood? Yes or no? And 18% said, yeah, so 18% said yes, and 82% said no.
That's right. Thank you for voting. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. The U.S. Coast Guard sprang into action today to rescue a group of people stranded on a floating sheet of ice in Lake Erie. 20 people were stuck on the ice floe, but 7 managed to fix their airboat and got back to land. The Coast Guard and first responders had to rescue, and luckily no one was hurt.
Well, good evening, everyone. We had record rainfall today. We're also looking at really balmy weather, 66 degrees. We got up to That's our high temperature. Right now is the highest temperature we've had all day. And of course, 47 the overnight low. But here's the record, 3.34 at the airport. That doubled the old record. To get the idea, the last time it rained this hard, it only rained half as much. So it was a significant rainfall. But coming up, we're going to be talking about the next 2 bands of showers. Are we going to get another that kind of total? It's going to be interesting. We'll be talking about it coming up after this. Well, good evening, everyone. Here's some totals that we had for rainfall today. In keeping with the record rainfall, Riverside Park, Coco Ross comes in at 4.48. That's pretty impressive. The 3 inches at Raisin, 2 inches in Cuero, in Edna, and 3 inches in Cuero. But you know, it's not over. There you see where we are. We had a nice little bit of a quiet period there, but already the showers are beginning to show up right along the Texas border. So this is going to be here overnight, certainly by sunrise. So If you're getting out early, just consider that we may have heavy water on the roadways. All of the moisture is rolling down like this, and when it dips down here into the Pacific. Remember, it's El Nino. That means this Pacific is warmer than normal. It's picking up all that energy, all that heat, all that moisture, and it streams northward. So these temperatures are not normal. They're almost balmy. Tomorrow, excessive rainfall possible throughout East Texas, and it goes all the way down to the crossroads. So we may have some spots of significant rainfall, and the problem is if we do, then we're going to have the problem with flooding. So tomorrow night, especially after another day of rain, I want you to be very cautious driving around, especially on the county roads where you might not have a lot of illumination. Here's the city, Victoria, and the county, and you can see that in the purple here, we're now getting into the 3, 4, and 5-inch range of rainfall. So it was amazing, and ordinarily I wouldn't complain about that kind of good rain. But 3 days in a row, that's another problem, okay? So let's do Future Tracker. We start off at, of course, tonight at 10 o'clock. Not much happening in the area. Then we go forward into your Tuesday, and you can see how showers begin to pick up early in the morning, right about there. Not huge, but they're picking up. And then Tuesday afternoon, you can see the big surge coming at us from the west. And there you see the big stuff right there. Now, here's Tuesday night. Okay, that's the big one that we're talking about, okay? That's Tuesday night. It'll go all the way into Wednesday morning. And you think, okay, it's over Wednesday morning. Nope, we get another surge as another ripple comes across the atmosphere. And all the way through Wednesday night, we're still dealing with bands of heavy rain. So my concern is that we're going to have a flooding situation certainly by Wednesday. Now, here's the big dip in the atmosphere. It's dipping down south, picking up that Gulf moisture. And right here, we call it the right-hand quadrant. In other words, right here is the area of maximum lifting. And you take all that humid air and you pull it up into the cold atmosphere, and you get the kind of rainfall we had today. Here we go all the way into Saturday. Finally, we do get a little bit of a clearing there. And we'll take a look at your day planner tomorrow. The temperature is not a factor at all, 67 to 69. But showers will be on and off all day. For those of you in Cuero, we're only going 65 to 70, but you'll be dealing with a couple of thunder showers as well. So because of the additional rainfall, we've got it down as an alert day for tomorrow. And that means that all of you will be affected by the heavier bands that'll come in later in the day. And then Wednesday, same thing. It's not until Thursday morning that we see this little front finally clear us out. And then we're looking for clearing weather as we get into the weekend that will actually cool us down just a bit. That is your 7-day forecast. I hope you keep it to mind. We do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now we go to Zachary Brown with sports.
We'll go behind the scenes of one of the most exciting softball teams in the area. I'll have that in sports. The excitement over at St. Joe was building for this softball season. The girls have high expectations, nearly winning it all. Last year, they got started with a nice media day. The local Photogs, Toby Fournette of Toby Fournette Photography and Christine Bozen Hall of Captured Moments by Christine took some fire photos of the St. Joe girls ahead of their very important year. And check this out. They were able to turn this into this. The day also gave the girls a chance to just cut loose and really allow their chemistry to show outside of the softball diamond. There are only 2 seniors on this team. They will be looked upon to guide the way, and here's their thoughts on this being their last ride.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be back on the field, and I'm most excited to, share this last ride with all my friends and my teammates. We all have really good chemistry. We're best friends on the field and off the field, in the classrooms. We're all really good friends, and I think that shows a lot on the way we play on the field.
It's bittersweet, but I'm still so excited because I think we'll make it pretty far. We have a lot of talent and chemistry, and it's something I've been looking forward for a long time.
We're really fired up about this year. We had a great year last year. We learned a lot at the state tournament, and just hoping to continue on the success we had last year.
The season right around the corner. Their first game of the year will be against Industrial, so no better way to start than your year than a media day to really get that excitement going. We spent a lot of time talking about what a special year this was for football at Bloomington, and they have continued that trend in boys and girls basketball. I was at boys practice today. They're set to prove to everyone they belong. Coach Darby told his guys, quote, "Everyone thinks what we are doing is a fluke, but it's not," end quote. The Bloom blocking out the outside noise. The boys and girls get big showdowns with Shiner tomorrow night. Those games in Bloomington. Victoria West had their banquet. Lots of awards to pass out. Always got to start with the unsung heroes in the trenches. Eric Bland and TK Rollins are your linemen MVPs. Those guys do a lot of dirty work. Now on to the guys they paved the way for. We had Kamari Montgomery, who you just saw in the background, who was given team MVP honors. And why not when you tote the rock like that? Blaine Carver, sure tackler, gets your defensive MVP honors. And Zorian Barfield, special teams MVP honors, even though that was a receiving highlight. Now, Camden Repper, he's your offensive MVP, but get this, he will be one tough act to follow. He broke Blake Buzzle's record for all-time passing at Victoria West. Camden Repper finishes with 4,379 passing yards on over 65% completion percentage with 51 touchdowns. He has some wheels as well. Diego Martinez gets your Team Spirit Award. And also, we talked about the Bloomington game, but tomorrow is the Victoria East and West boys and girls game. So we got a lot to look forward to here in the Crossroads. That's it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, a woman in California is facing charges after stealing several of the viral Stanley Cups.
For our hockey fans out there, this is not the real Stanley Cup. Okay, a California woman stole $2,500 worth of the viral Stanley Cups last week at a store near Sacramento. Staff reported seeing the 23-year-old woman leave with a cart full of the pricey water bottles. They say she refused to stop, then stuffed her car with the stolen goods and took off. Police later spotted the woman's car and pulled her over, where they found 65 Stanley Cups, those kinds of Stanley Cups, inside. The woman was arrested for grand theft.
They add
up. They add up.
Take 3 of them as grand theft.
Now let's talk about hockey. The world's largest open-air ice rink reopened Sunday for the first time in nearly 2 years. The ice rink in Ontario closed in 2022 because there was not enough ice. It needed at least 30 centimeters of ice to open. That usually requires 10 to 14 days of weather between -10 and -20 degrees Celsius. Higher temperatures in November and December had some worried it would stay closed this year. The rink first opened in 1971 and has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Well, good luck for them that it stayed below zero. We're fine here.
Yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah, with the rain.
You have to wait. It's below zero for 10 or 15 days. Then you can go play. Amazing. Well, you know, it's got to be thicker than...
That's right. That's right.
That's right. All right. Well, folks, I just want you to be ready because we've got more showers headed into our area. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, we may have another big dousing of rain, kind of like we had today. We had 3.5 inches. We could have another 3.5 inches, and if you start adding that up, it gets us into a potential flood situation by Wednesday. So we have 2 alert days for Tuesday and Wednesday when this soggy stuff moves away, and I think we'll be dry and cooler by the time we get to the weekend.
Alrighty, thank you, Mac. And wrapping up tonight, one husky in Philadelphia is being rewarded for preventing what could have been an explosive situation. Kobe, the 4-year-old husky, was digging in his owner's backyard last month, something his owner said he never does. When the dog did it again, she checked it out, and it turns out it was a gas detection. Well, she checked it out with a gas detection device, and it turns out that the dog was smelling a low-pressure gas leak. Yep, and then as you guys know, PETA caught up with the story and now is giving Kobe a Heroic Dog Award.
Probably saved some lives there.
Yeah.
They have some good ones.
Well, remember what happened at the hotel in Dallas just a couple weeks ago? Gas explosion.
They could have used Kobe.
Amazing.
That's right.
Good stuff.
Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Carolina Estrain, meteorologist Parker Cox, 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.